Ho, 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 hold my beer. That doesn't work, does it? It's time for the worst championship prediction show. I don't mean worst in terms of content. I mean worst in terms of the predictions that we're going to bring you. With me, as always, it's my co-host. It's Mark Ryman. How are we getting on, Mark?
Some might say that we have no clue what we're doing.
Oh, that's so much better. We should let you introduce it. I can't think of any more Christmas puns.
No, let's leave it. We'll leave it. I'm sure we'll get there throughout. Yeah.
Of course. But if you enjoy terrible Christmas puns, and Mark's got a great Christmas jumper. Mine's really old, but it still does the job. Remember to subscribe to the OK Football Show on YouTube, and you can get these terrible predictions delivered straight to your YouTube homepage. Right, but let's kick this off with it's a derby, but not because
No.
it's a Derby County versus Portsmouth.
Yes, you're right. That Derby are involved, but that's it. Shall I get on with the predictions? Right, I've gone 1-1 for this one. I think that both teams are in sort of different form, really. Derby have struggled, haven't they, over the last few games, but they've also played some really tough sides. They've just played Leeds and Burnley on the bounce. And then they're up against the Pompey side who have actually, turned it around. Pompey just turn up against bigger teams, right? That's what they seem to do. I mean, a decent draw at home against Norwich. I guess they might look at it differently after Norwich were just smashed by QPR, but still, is that 4 games now without a loss, unbeaten? So I think that, and they're scoring some goals now as well. So I think it'd be tough to call, but Derby are at home, so that's the reason for the point. For Derby, 1-1.
Yeah, so I'm the nerd over this because Portsmouth form has just turned a corner with the reintroduction of Colby Bishop. It's fantastic that he's come back into it, and I hope he's being monitored very closely because you don't want anything bad happening when it comes to heart issues. Their upturn in form, I think it's 7 points in the last 3 games where he started in comparison to 8 points from their first 14 games or something. It's absolutely mad, like what one man can do for your team. Derby, on the other hand, poor run of form right now, winless in their last 5, just 2 draws and 3 back-to-back losses. But I'm backing them to cut that poor run of form. I've gone 1-0 Derby because Derby at Pride Park, or the baseball ground, not the baseball ground.
For a while.
No, not for a long time. They're a different beast. They're all right at home.
Yeah, they are better at home. But like you say, they lost a bit of form. But yeah, Colby Bishop coming back it's not just the player, is it? I think it's the nature at which he went, and that must have affected the team so close to the start of the new season as well. So to have him back probably makes a massive difference on the morale of the whole team as well.
Yeah, right. On to Bristol City versus QPR.
I've gone against form for this and gone for a Bristol City 2-1 win, but my sort of justification is that I'm still not. I mean, they've been 5 games unbeaten and they won the last 2 games 5-0, which is incredible from QPR. But away from home, I'm still not completely convinced. All right, they beat Cardiff 2-0, but Cardiff are reverting back to where they were at the start of the season. And Bristol City, despite their recent run of form, are a good side. They have got a lot of injuries, I think, now, haven't they? So, yeah, I've gone them to edge it. I know that the bookies might say different for this one now, considering QPR's upturn in form. But, yeah, Bristol City at home, it's hard to bet against for me. 2-1.
Yeah, this turnaround in form for QPR is just crazy. And this is their real first test right now. But I've also gone Bristol City 2, QPR 1. I am a believer in form is there to be cut. And bad form can't run forever. 1 win in their last 5 for Bristol City, but QPR have looked really good, and it's sort of really given them some breathing space away from the bottom three now. Landing on 21 points after that, really good. What was it? It was a 2-0 win against Oxford's as well. They're sort of reverting to some pretty poor form after such a positive start. But yeah, I've gone Bristol City 2, QPR 1. And shall we take a look at Frank Lampard's Coventry versus Hull City?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Ruben Sellers' Hull City. Then now he's in.
It's not a name.
He
didn't play almost 100 times for England.
Okay, sure. Hull's form. Oh, they got a draw though, didn't they? So they've sort of broken them back a bit. I've gone another 2-1. This is the 2-1s are a sign that I'm not quite convinced on either. But I've gone 2-1 Cov. I've not been convinced yet. I've not been convinced by Frank Lampard's managerial career in general, and nothing recently has changed that. They lost relatively convincingly at West Brom. Hull have been on a terrible run of form, but nearly got the win through the luckiest goal I've ever seen in my life against Watford, and then they equalised 4 minutes later, 80th and 84th minute or something like that, wasn't it? It was ridiculous, the end of that game. So I don't know whether Hull are going to go into this game with confidence or not based on that. And the same with Cov, really. They got a sneaky 1-0 win against Millwall, not that convincingly either. Yeah, I've gone 2-1 Cov. I'm no means convinced, though.
I've gone the other way here.
Yeah.
I've gone 2-1 Hull. Although Frank Lampard's 3 games has been a draw, a win and a loss, not impressed with Coventry at all. I'm with you in the fact that I don't think Lampard is a good manager. They could be a different beast after transfer window, and he managed to tempt some players from Premier League clubs and bring them in on loans. I saw some Cov delusional fans saying, "Oh yeah, we could get Ross Barkley." No, you're not. He just scored in the Champions League.
He just scored, in the Champions League. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sure he really wants to come down to the Championship now. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And with Hull, that goal they conceded against Watford, you can see that's a little bit of. It was still very good that they took the lead, but you can see that the confidence is still relatively fragile in the sense that Bah just did the whole length of the pitch essentially unopposed. That happens, and confidence takes a while to repair. So I don't think it's I don't think Hull are going to go down without getting another point for the rest of the game, rest of the season even. I do think they'll win this one, and Coventry, after what people thought was, essentially they're going to realise they should have just stuck with Mark Robbins, or even just put in Jesse Carr as full-time manager. He was doing all right.
I think the fans probably agreed with that one anyway, didn't they? But I'm with you. I think Hull could easily get something from the game, and I don't think that they will go down. Actually, now they've changed the manager just because of the strength of their team. I think they'll stay up comfortably in the end. I know they're bottom at the moment, but that certainly won't stay that way. I'm sure of it.
No, it will change. It will change. Right, on to Preston North End versus Leeds. Is this one a derby? They're both up north, aren't they?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Oh, they're both northern.
They're both northern, yeah, but Leeds is West Yorkshire and Preston's Lancashire. No, They're not a derby. They're quite a long way away. Again, you can mention in the comments how many hours it is to get from one to the other. I'm going to reckon a guess that it's about almost 2 hours from Leeds to Preston.
That's quite far.
Yeah. So, feel free to correct me, but I don't think I'm that wrong, right? Okay, anyway. On to the score prediction. I've gone tight 1-0 win to Leeds. I'm just, despite that, I can't not predict a Leeds win based on relatively recent form, apart from Blackburn, and Preston have been draw specialists, but they did just beat Cardiff away from home. Good result as well.
Did you see that second goal from Preston?
I know. Oh dear. But I think Leeds might struggle, as a lot of teams have, to score many goals at Preston. Not many teams do, and Leeds. And we keep saying Leeds don't put teams away, but actually, they've scored 3 or 4 goals in their last 3 or 4 games. So maybe apart from the Blackburn one, I think. And so yeah, they have started to score a bit more, but I think they're so good defensively that they'll take the lead and just shut it out. I can't see Preston being able to break them down.
Yeah, you're right, and I don't know why. I've gone Leeds 3, Preston 1. I think I'm a bit of an idiot. I can't really see Preston scoring a goal. I do think this is going to be one of those games where Leeds put them away. Maybe Preston score against the run of play early on. It angers Leeds, and then Leeds put 3 past them. That's the only rationale for this one that I can think of. But Preston, with that win and how tight it is at the bottom, like it sort of just bunny hopped them up to 14th. And it shows how tight that bottom half of the table is right now. But at the same time, they're sort of been unbeaten for a while. I can't see them keeping that, really.
No. You can't bet against Leeds at the moment.
No, you really can't. Look, they're so scarred by what happened last season. I think they're just all hands on deck to prevent the bottle.
We'll see. There's still time. There's still time.
Right. On to Blackburn versus Luton Town.
There's more injured players on this list than there are actual squad members available of both teams combined. It's crazy, isn't it? How well have Blackburn done? I know, as somebody who originally put them rock bottom, I know I keep saying it as if I'm asking for the pelters as well, but I did put them rock bottom in my original table, and how stupid do I look now? They've been absolutely excellent. And absolutely fair play to John Eustace for getting tunes out of players that we know are good players, but weren't necessarily firing over the last couple of seasons. We talked about Hedges in our pre-match, Dolan, for example, and then the addition of people like Ohashi. Just they're so dangerous. And in the last few weeks in particular, they're not conceding either. Luton have got a relatively good record there, but despite the win on Tuesday, and Luton were much better on Tuesday, Blackburn are going to be a hell of a lot tougher than Stoke as an opponent. And so I've gone for a 2-1 home win, which, is closer than I would have predicted this time last week.
Yeah, so I've gone for a away win. I've gone 2-1 Luton. And I think a lot of people aren't giving Stoke the credit. I said it in the match preview as well. A lot of people are giving Stoke the credit that they deserve. They were better than a lot of people have said. But at the same time, as I've said, forms have to end and runs have to start. And I think I'm not saying this is the start of a run that takes Luton to the playoffs, but I will say that this is the start of a run that could potentially take Luton to a mid-table mediocrity, which we'd all take.
Dangerous optimism right there. We've uttered these words before, I feel. But
it starts now.
Oh God, now. April the 15th, we're still having the same conversation. Right, let's hope not.
It starts now. We'll see what happens. The players look invested. The players look like they're backing the manager at Luton, and in any other position, pretty much. I'm looking at every single team below Luton at the moment, and other than QPR, Oxford, Portsmouth, and Plymouth, every team has changed their manager. Yeah. And Plymouth are right on the cusp of changing a manager as well.
Well, they changed their coach, haven't they? So that's close.
Yeah. Mike Phelan's a very important player to bring in there. But yeah, I'm backing Luton here. And as you say, even if we do lose, the away form has to turn a corner, because the way Luton are conceding tons of goals on the road is just not sustainable right now. Really not. Yeah. Blackburn don't score much anyway, do they? Just 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0.
They don't need to, because they keep them out the other end. We'll see. Yeah.
Very true, very true. Right, on to Middlesbrough versus Millwall. And this is Neil Harris's final game at Millwall.
Yeah, mad, isn't it? Mad how quickly things can change. You only have the football cliche of a week's a long time in football and all that jazz, but really is, isn't it? It's unbelievable. Millwall were the form team in the division not that long ago. Fans couldn't believe it. Harris was doing a great job. Then he calls them all idiots or whatever he said, and
Call them thickos.
that's the one. Sorry, yeah, called them all thickos, and then he's out of a job again. Back to Cambridge, maybe.
Mutual termination.
Yeah. I find it an odd one. I really do. I think I don't know what the reasoning behind it is. I get that's not a good PR look, but we're a team in Luton that had Nathan Jones as our manager for years. PR wasn't exactly his specialism, let's say. You just got to accept it for what it is. I don't know.
He never called the fan thickos, though.
He didn't. You're right. Actually,
no. Joe Kinnear called the fan donuts, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we love Joe. We love Joe Kinnear, don't we? But I don't know. I don't know what the ins and outs of it are. And obviously, they lost the last two tight. And bear in mind, they were home to Sheffield United in the last game. That's a tough game. Borough losing 3-1 against Borough losing 3-1 against Leeds, should I say? Can't lose 3-1 against yourself. Maybe Luton can. Isn't a fair reflection, I don't think, of how that game really went. I thought Borough were actually very good in spells in that game. But yeah, I think they're going to win this one comfortably 2-0 at home.
Oh, snap. I've also gone 2-0. I just think Borough, although they've had a little bit of a wobble and sort of dropped out of the playoff places, I still think there's a lot there. There's a lot of firepower there. And providing that, Ben Doak doesn't get recalled by Liverpool or anything like that, I think they can definitely sustain a playoff push. They really can. So yeah, up there with you. 2-0 to the Borough. Right. Oxford versus Sheffield Wednesday. It's a bit worrying for Oxford at the moment, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. And do you know what's worrying is that, usually with a team like Oxford, with that team spirit, they lose a game badly, you tend to come back from that. But they really haven't, They got pumped, didn't they, at home to Borough, and then followed it up with a 3-0 loss away at Sheffield United, albeit Sheffield United. They managed to scrape a draw against Millwall. And then lost against QPR. So yeah, it's tough. I mean, Wednesday have been better, but not great either. They seem to have dropped off slightly. But again, their last game was a 1-0 loss against Blackburn. And as we've just been talking about, lots of teams are losing against Blackburn at the moment. So it's a tough one. I found this one really, really tough to call. So when I generally find them tough to call, I go with the sitting on the fence approach, which is what I've done here. And I've gone for a 1-1. I think if anyone's going to nick it, it's going to be Wednesday. But Oxford at home just made me think a draw. So yeah, 1-1.
You've hit the nail on the head there. Back-to-back batterings, for a lack of a better word, has completely destroyed the Oxford team spirit. Thought they got a little bit of that against Millwall with the, sneaking that 1-1 draw, but it just does seem to be pretty bad at the moment. It really does. So I've gone 2-0 Wednesday. I just feel if Oxford can't really keep, if Bannon's feeling it from distance, and anything could really happen in this game. But I don't think it's just going to be a smash and grab. I think Wednesday are going to dominate. I think Oxford at home, even now, there's no confidence there. And hopefully they can pick it up and sort of take that early season confidence they had and sort of squeeze it back in, because they need it right now. Otherwise, they're going to be in a horrendous relegation battle. And a relegation battle when there's no confidence, it only ends one way, and it ends going back down to League One.
100%.
Right, on to Sheffield United versus Plymouth.
Another relegation battle side. I'll be very surprised if they're not there or thereabouts in the relegation zone at the end of the season. And I find it interesting, the move for Phelan. It obviously gives Rooney a bit more time, surely. But their results have been dire. It should be added, of course, that Sissoko and Whittaker are massive losses for any team in this league. But a team at the bottom of the table with no disrespect, but not the best squad by any stretch. Those two players are absolute standouts for Plymouth, and without them, that is a huge loss. I think Sheffield United are without Arblaster and Tyrese Campbell injured. I'm not sure whether he's injured or not in the last game, or the game before, sorry. But both of those could be an interesting one. But for this one, Sheffield United at home, I always go 2-0, but for this one against Plymouth, I've gone 3-0. I did go 4-0 for a bit, but I reduced it down to 3-0. See if Phelan has any impact.
Yeah, well, Phelan's been there for one game, and it was tight. They did start to claw it back against Swansea, brought it back to 2-1. I've gone for the fact that Sheffield United take their foot off the gas. I've gone 2-0. 2-0 to Sheffield United. And yeah, I agree with you. Sissoko, even Joe Edwards, Morgan Whittaker, they are massive, massive losses. And yeah, Arblaster's out. Tyrese Campbell might be back for this game. We'll have to see.
Big boost for them.
Yeah, Vinny D'Souza, he's going to be out as well for this one. But they still have so much talent and also a ridiculous defence. You need the luck with no injuries, and that's what Sheffield United are getting right now. Very few injuries. But with Plymouth, I would have had them pegged around 21st anyway. They just need a win or two just to sort of right the ship, and Phelan will have that.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess as per injuries as well, rotation's a big thing. Sheffield United, as you said, have got a really good squad. They can afford to rotate players, means they're less likely to get injured. Plymouth, players, if they're fit, players like Morgan Whittaker are playing every minute of every game. So there's your issue, I guess,
a massive
as well.
Loss. Huge loss. Right. On to Stoke City versus Cardiff.
I've gone for... This may well be the most boring game, but I'm going for a result. So I'm going for a Stoke win just on this, purely based on Cardiff's recent form as well. I don't know. Maybe I'm being harsh. I can't see this being particularly entertaining. Both sides have lost 3 out of their last 5. Cardiff just got beaten at home to Preston as well. I don't think Stoke have got some talented individuals, but they're all over the shop for me in terms of their playing style. They don't look like they have an identity, and we say that as Luton fans, or I say that as a Luton fan, and if anyone can recognise a loss of identity, it's definitely us. I can't see it being an absolute barnstormer of a game. So yeah, I've gone for a very tight, very dull Stoke City 1, Cardiff City 0.
Yeah, same here. And I think this game will be determined based off individual quality. And I just think Stoke have a touch more individual quality in their team than Cardiff do. So yeah, Stoke 1, Cardiff 0. Right, Swansea versus Sunderland, 2 teams with plenty of quality.
Yeah, so I've gone for the exact opposite in terms of my prediction of entertainment. I think this one, however, will be excellent to watch. Both teams who love being on the ball. It'll be interesting to see what the possession stats are after this. I think Swansea tend to shade it above most teams at home as well. Sunderland have still got a silly injury list, although some of them are due to be back. I think a couple of them are just short-term ones. But I think this will be really entertaining, and I can't pick them. Sunderland have been doing a little bit better, but they're nowhere near the form they were at the start of the season, let's be honest. And Swansea have looked really good in every game, and either got a tight win or been unlucky to draw it. I mean, how they didn't beat Luton, I'll never know. So yeah, for this, I've gone 2-2. Desmond.
Interesting. So I've also gone for a draw, but I've gone for a low-scoring draw, just a 1-1, because I don't know if...
Boo.
Boo, I'm so boring. This injury list from Sunderland is absolutely disgusting. I really feel for them. It's crazy. 9 players out. But you know what? Mundle is a big one, but you know what? They have that guy Watson. What is he? 18 or something? Absolutely mad. Like, they just pull these gems out of their academy, and then this guy Watson just goes and bags a brace. Yeah, it's insane.
No, he's injured.
Is he injured?
Pretty sure he's injured, yeah.
Oh, God, poor guy. Okay.
He's injured as well.
Well, I think Swansea will dominate the ball. The only problem is the only thing preventing Swansea from winning is they don't really have that finisher. But I don't think that Potnik is that guy. They're really missing someone since the days of Ayew, Pirot. They're missing that person who can put the ball in the onion bag.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, Pirot, especially more recently. Yeah, they haven't got that. You're right. They're still at least getting one or two most games, though, aren't they?
Yeah, but a lot of them come from like late runs into the box,
Sure.
like they're Jay Fulton and who I can't even remember who scored against Luton Town, but it's always Ashley, of course, Grimes,
Matt Grimes,
the immortal Championship legend. Did I say Ashley Grimes? Ashley Grimes,
you did.
Did I? Yeah, Ashley Grimes, rolling back the years at the ripe old age of 68.
It's all right.
He had a finish, Ashley Grimes. Matt Grimes.
Matt Grimes, yeah.
What a player. I think Swansea are going to dominate the ball here. Right, on to... It's the W Derby. It's Watford versus West Brom.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna dignify that with a response. I've gone Watford 1, West Brom 2. I think Watford's, I say dominance at home. Well, they have been very good at home. Might come to an end here. I think West Brom scoring 2 and conceding none against Coventry might be the start of the end of that draw. Those draws. So yeah, for me, I think they're going to take all 3 points here. I thought they were very convincing. So yeah, 2-1, tight game still.
They've broken the hoodoo. Fair play to West Brom. I've gone Watford 0, West Brom 1. I do think they've broken the hoodoo, and what better way than an away win against Watford. Right, and the final one, Norwich versus Burnley.
I'm not quite sure what I was thinking when I did this prediction, to be perfectly honest. I'm looking at it now going, was I drunk? I've gone for 3-2. I've gone for a 3-2. Both teams just come off the back of a 0-0 draw. Burnley never score more than 2. Rarely score more than 1 at the moment. And I genuinely, I've no justification for this. I must have just been bored. I've gone Norwich 2, Burnley 3. If this comes off, it's pure fluke. I'm not going to take any credit for it whatsoever.
It would be sensational. I expect that to be your lock of the week. I've got Norwich 1, Burnley 2. I ummed and ahed over it as well because I thought, Burnley don't really score that many. The fans are not happy with Scott Parker.
No, they're not.
And Norwich, like they're quite, open at the back. But Burnley aren't going to be penetrating, are they? So I got 2-1 Burnley.
That's more.
I don't know. To be honest, it's probably got a 0-0 written all over it, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the most likely for the reasons that you just said, and I do agree with you completely. Parker Ball is not going down well at the moment, and the last sort of result you're likely to get is a 3-2 win. But never mind, we'll see. It's Championship after all.
Imagine complaining about the football when you're third in the table. Some fans, ridiculous. Right, can I trouble you for your lock of the week?
Yeah, Sheffield United 3, Plymouth Argyle 0.
Well, that's an easy one, isn't it?
Negative spiral. Yeah, well, that's why it's my lock of the week. I want to get it right.
Right, I'm going to go for Sheffield Wednesday versus Oxford. I think that's a 2-0. Oxford down on their luck right now. Sheffield Wednesday, they'll be laughing. Right. So that's us done for this week. And remember to give us a thumbs up and subscribe for even more Championship content. We're going to have the Champ Chat returning after illness. We're going to be back in the pub chatting about Championship football. But as always, whoever you support, have a great week.